On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks, in air quotes, lose to the Houston Rockets. What do we see from Omax, Dexter, Dennis, Rashawn Holmes? And then let's just talk about the Mavs and the state of where they are right now. We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Mavericks, NBA champions. It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show. Appreciate each and every one of you for jumping on. Joining me today, the Postgame Prodigy. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
If you guys are watching this one, man, kudos to you.
Really part of the Raccoon Squad if you're listening to this one. Like
no one can question your fanhood.
Real deep cut if you're listening to this one. No one can. No. The term fanatic applies to you twofold, threefold, and all that.
And when the Mavs win again, you could say, man, I was there. December 22nd, the Mavericks against the Rockets.
There are some of you listening that go, I remember the giraffe gaff. I remember some of the lowest times. I remember some of the worst things that we've seen. The giraffe gaff was a lineup Rick Carlisle put out like 5 years ago where he played like 4 7-footers at the same time.
Ahead of his time.
Except for it was like Jeff Withy and like
There's was some dark end of right before Luka times. They were just
some of them on purpose.
Yeah, some of them intentionally.
Self-inflicted. This game though, just absolutely, I mean, just brutal.
Yeah.
Because of who was out. So you look at the injury report that was sent before the game. Kyrie was out still. Lively's out still. Josh Green's out still. Maxey's out still. Exum was then added to the injury report, and then Luka. There's the case in some instances that's your top like 6 guys.
Yeah,
top 6 guys in some cases.
Outside of Tim Hardaway Jr., that's probably your 6 or 7 best players.
Yeah, and Derek Jones Jr. and maybe Grant Williams, but still, it's a lot. It's at least your top 4 as they've been playing right now with Exum sneaking in there because he's been really good.
Yeah, and
it's definitely your top 4, like their top 3 ball handlers that you've had so far this season. And so coming into this game, Rockets pretty healthy overall. Cam Whitmore is supposed to be out this game. He actually played, by the way, so that was interesting. But in this game, though, the Mavs offense was maybe the worst offense I've seen from any team. It ended up being not their worst offensive rating. It ended up being like a 90. Their worst offensive rating was 2 years ago. They had a 75 offensive rating. But Cleaning the Glass takes out garbage time, at which they'll probably take out the whole fourth quarter in this one. And so I think it may drop down a little bit. This was just a terribly executed game, as you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, they don't, like you said, they were without their 3 best ball handlers. And I mean, we've seen across the league. I mean, obviously this is not the greatest comparison, but like the Suns, they're supposed to have this historically great offense, but their offense struggles a lot. Why? They don't have a point guard. Like point guard's an important.
Yeah.
Not anyone can just take the ball and be like, all right, just dribble and then pass. That's what they asked of Hardy tonight. And, that's not who he is. It's just probably not who he's ever going to be. That's obviously not who Tim Hardaway is. The only guy they really have was like Seth. And he's what? Like, he's not a guy you really want captaining your offense in any real capacity. Or
he can like handle the ball and he can dribble around, but like, you're not really creating offense off of him, especially not the way the Mavericks are creating. If you're going to get upset about something tonight, it's that the Mavericks are so unprepared for moments when Luka doesn't play or when Kyrie doesn't play because they just can't run any other offense besides that heliocentric one guy with the ball does something with it, pick and roll, that kind of stuff. Like they literally just can't do anything. And like most teams in the NBA, I'm not going to get mad about them losing this game, but most teams in the NBA can't run an offense besides who like through their stars and who their stars are. But the Mavericks, it just seems like they literally are helpless without Luka and without Kyrie and without, there's just no other offense. There's no other game plan there.
Yeah. I mean, if these 2 guys miss time at the same time at any point, knock on glass, I mean, you're doomed.
Just did.
Yeah.
Just
like this will be every game. Like there's not, I mean, maybe Dexter did this. This was we saw it. We saw the light with Dexter Dennis. He was great tonight, but yeah.
Dexter Dennis is just Katie Nolan killing it in garbage time. So that was a deep sports reference cut.
But hey, he was killing it though, to his credit.
But if you're gonna be mad about anything, it's just that they just don't have another answer, and that's been the case for a long time. for a while is that they don't even look like they're executing an offense out there when Luka's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, they built their entire roster to. So this is why, like, people, Grant Williams was horrible tonight. I mean, no two ways around it. Tim Hardaway Jr. shot terribly tonight. The reality is these guys are brought in and paid to play alongside Luka. Like, the team thinks these guys complement Luka very well. Catch and shoot guys who can defend, don't need the ball in their hands to do much. And whenever you take that guy out, it's going to be really rough. So I mean, they're just built to lose these games. And it is what it is. Like we've said, if you take the top two guys out of most teams, it's going to be rough. But
it's going to be rough. But I don't know that most teams score. And the Rockets are a good defense. Let's say that. The Rockets are the third best defense in the NBA. So you got to give them credit for sure. But to score 17, 22, and 21 points in the quarters that you actually played, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful. And the types of shots, the quality of shots they created were just awful overall. We did get to see some of these young guys that you mentioned. First and foremost, Omax got some good run. Got about 30 minutes of playing time. 20 points total, 6 boards, 5 of them offensive. He got 2 assists and a steal, and was 7 of 9 from the free throw line. What'd you see from Omax in this one?
9 free throw attempts, man. That's good. That's encouraging. He I forgot who it was. Is it Mate? Hopefully I'm not pronouncing her name wrong, but she posted a piece for Mavs Moneyball. Yeah. She was talking about how, Dante Exum fits so well with the Mavericks because the game's just so slow for him, and how, like, a lot of these guys who come from, like, European leagues are like that. And for Omax, it's like you could see when the game starts to slow down for him as he gets a little bit more experience and, is around an NBA organization more, he's going to be a real legitimate guy. I truthfully do. He's going to have to shoot threes. That's like the make or break thing for him ultimately.
For sure.
But his aggressiveness, his hustle, I mean, he just looks so huge. I know he's a big guy, but man, like with how much space he takes up on the court and how quick he is and how long he is, he looks like 2 or 3 inches bigger than he actually is. I don't do that stuff. I said what I said. Unapologetically.
Just gonna stand by that.
I don't care.
I'll just let you sit with it for a second. We're just not used to big wings around here, right? Like, we're just not used to like a legitimately 6'9" wing with a long wingspan that projects as like, this prototypical player that you just love in a combine or in a draft. And the Mavericks got one of those. And I saw a couple of tweets before I gave up Twitter for the night. After I'll tell you when I gave up Twitter for the night. But I saw some tweets like, "Oh, the Mavs, all they have is these mediocre players like blah blah blah, Rashawn Holmes." And I was like, the reason why they have Rashawn Holmes is because they got Omax. Yeah, and they, like, you paid the price to bring in Omax and to get that guy. And I thought I saw some great stuff. He's always gonna hustle. He's always gonna do some great stuff when he hustles. And he was doing that tonight. The 5 offensive rebounds I thought were mostly from hustle and getting to the ball. But getting the free throw line, it's something that we've been big on that he can do from day one. That's huge. The shot is tough. He hit 1 3 in this one, airballed another one, missed badly on another. It's just not consistent yet. There's some weird wrist movement twisting in his shot that I've noticed as I've watched it in practices and warm-ups and things like that. And so I'm curious if the Mavericks get a full season with him on it, but they did start with him in August. So you'd think that they would have worked with him since then on it. I mean, he's been around the Mavs facility now for a little while, but it does take a while to break down a shot and to build it back up and do all that. We saw that with Josh Green with the Mavericks. But yeah, I still am a believer in Omax too, that he'll find a role as soon as it slows down for him. He's going to be really good. Just the size, his ability to already put the ball on the deck. That's how he's getting these free throws, is to put the ball on the deck, get into a spot under the rim, and then just pump fake the hell out of everybody around him, and then eventually get fouled. Like that. That's how that's kind of been his bread and butter so far, right? As what he's done in the NBA.
Yeah. And like a young guy, rookie, if your shot's not falling, we see all the time. These guys, they could lose confidence very easily, and then their game's just shattered entirely. Yeah. But for Omax, his shot's not falling, but he's still attacking the rim, with unapologetically. Like he's not afraid to, throw up an air ball or miss or whatever. He's getting to the rim. He's pump faking. He's going to the free throw line. I mean, these are all really encouraging things. And defensively, it's there too. Like he needs some time. He needs some seasoning, but all the tools are there. He's going to be a great player for the Mavs. I'm convinced on that front.
Yeah, he's like if you or I cooked chicken, but we just need to add some seasoning to him.
No. Don't let me in that group. Don't let me in that group. Trust me.
What kind of seasoning you put on your chicken?
I can't even say.
Just like illegal substances you're getting from somewhere?
A lot of steroids.
Just the buffest chicken out there.
Yeah,
I thought
in that group.
I thought Omax was a bright spot, and at least from what you could take in this game, just a real dark game. I saw a video earlier where a guy was in he was in a cave, like a deep cave, doing like a walkthrough, like showing people through this cave. And he's like, all right, we've hit a point where there is no outside light that comes in. I'm going to turn the flashlight off. And he turns the flashlight off and everybody freaks out because it's just so dark.
Yeah.
That's this game. It's that dark. And if I'm going to find one little like glowing thing from it, it's Omax, because I do think that his role can project going forward. It's harder when you look at a guy like Dexter Dennis.
Yeah.
Because Dexter Dennis, he played 17 minutes, scored 18 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He was 8 of 11 from the field, had some good stuff like floaters and, hit a 3 and things like that. It's hard for me to find a role for him going forward. He is 4 years older than Omax. He is 2 years older than Josh Green. He's like a 6'5" wing. He kind of projects into that Josh Green role that we've been trying to figure out because he can handle the ball a little bit. He's springy. He can defend. It's kind of hard to find a role for him, but he did some good stuff in this game tonight, even though a lot of it was in garbage time.
Yeah, no, I mean, he did some stuff handling the ball that I thought was really interesting and kind of helping that group offensively. Big reason why the Mavericks did end up putting 36 points up in the fourth quarter compared to, like, I don't know if they scored 36 points the rest of the game, but
they scored 39 points in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. But yeah, I mean, it's when you're a fan and if you're watching the game, if you're still watching the game when Dexter Dennis was going off, like your mindset is I'm leaving here with something, and then you see like some players go off in garbage time, and you want to be super excited about that, but reality is it's I don't know if the team even takes away a lot. Like Doc Rivers was on the Bill Simmons podcast talking about how coaches don't really like garbage time is not something that really gets factored into the equation a lot of the times. But no, he looked really good though. I'll give him some props, and he's been good in the G League too, from what people were saying.
Yeah, Cleaning the Glass is a site made by Ben Falk that he used to work in the NBA for a while, and Cleaning the Glass completely takes out garbage time. So like the whole fourth quarter of this game would be completely just null and void statistically on that site, and I'm okay with that because you're not really getting a good representation of the Mavericks in this one. He could say this whole game was garbage time, honestly.
Yeah, they should have some stat like, okay, five rotation players out, this game just doesn't count unless they win.
Like it has to be like if your 4 top minute getters so far like are out or something like that, 2 all-stars, and it's like then it doesn't count. But yeah, I thought Dexter Dennis at least showed something, showed some fight, showed some like you said, some ball handling, some ability to put the ball in the bucket.
Yeah, and I mean
maybe the Mavs turn to every once in a while.
Yeah, and like even if he doesn't play much more, like if you're a coach, assistant coach, like I don't think any coach would actually say this, but you elbow Josh Green. You elbow Jaden Hardy.
Don't elbow Josh Green in the elbow. We're
elbow
literally just
in the elbow. We don't know what's going on. We're actually not even sure if his elbow is still connected to his body. Yeah, we should at least know something. And Kid before the game is like, "Hey guys, I don't know what you want me to say. But just tell us something."
I try to tell you guys. They're like, ask him. Why don't you ask him about injuries? I'm telling you, this is what he's going to say every single time.
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
It's just the way he answers questions all the time.
I just don't like the snarkiness. Like fans want to know. We're watching this team drown. We're watching this team drown, and it's like, when are these guys coming back? Like the Shams had to come out and tell you, Kyrie started rehab. What does that mean? Like, how long is that going to take? People are like Christmas, but rehab doesn't sound good to me. That sounds like a week or 2.
It's actually rehab for his YouTube deep dive conspiracy theory addiction.
Okay.
We've all been there where we're like, I got to scrub my YouTube timeline. I'm kind of like go back and like delete a bunch of my history so that it doesn't come up in my algorithm anymore.
Or you're just in some weird Reddit rabbit hole and it's like, wait, it's 4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. and I'm scared to go outside.
I got one in TikTok recently about giants.
Oh,
like actual giant people.
Yeah. I've been down a giant rabbit hole.
You ever see that one where you're just like scrolling and all of a sudden there's like this guy that the FBI like picked up and he wasn't allowed to like leave his home, and then we like never heard from him again because he posted this video of this. There's this like mountain like right in front of him in view, snow capped. And he looks at the top, and there just looks like this giant walking person is on top of this.
The video you're talking about.
On top of this mountain, and then there's this whole conspiracy that the government came and like picked him up and left. If you never see us again, If you never hear from me or Slightly ever again, it's because of this.
Yeah, seriously. I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, but because I don't believe any of them. But I'm like an enthusiast. I like knowing them. I like seeing what people are talking about. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting one. I don't believe it.
I can get with that. I'm an enthusiast as well. I think I do believe that Lea Michele can't read though. That's a conspiracy theory. She was the main girl from Glee, and a lot of people think she can't read.
See, that one's just like a mean spirited. I like the weird ones. I like the weird ones. Well, the problem with conspiracy theories is if you go a little bit too deep, they end up getting very racist and very anti-Semitic quickly. Where you're at the end like, wait, what? I don't know how we got here.
Out of context, Locked On Mavs out of context has a lot to work with in this episode.
Yeah,
that is
not a lot to say.
Sure. Rashawn Holmes, the one thing that I do have a question about from this game, like a tactical, what is going on with this game? Why start Markieff Morris instead of Rashawn Holmes? Because I thought Rashawn Holmes had some good stuff in this game. 16 points, 8 boards, 5 offensive boards in this one. Had a couple of good like dunks.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how Kidd comes to the decision to play Morris instead of Holmes.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. And I was wondering if maybe we talked a couple nights ago, they come back against the Clippers was the small ball unit.
And they did it in this game too. He came back in the second half and Curry started instead of
And so I wondered if that was maybe the coaching staff will never tell you they're expecting a loss, but they did not think they were going to win this game tonight. There's just no way. And I wonder if it was more so, if we're going to go smaller, like if that's something we want to do moving forward, maybe Markieff can be a guy who could be a small ball 5 for us. So let's run him out tonight. That would be my guess. Otherwise, I have no idea.
My guess for this game specifically was we've just got to shoot the lights out from three. Like we just got to hit a bunch of threes. And so let's just throw out 5 guys that can hit a 3. And Markieff has been okay in some spurts this year.
Yeah, he's giving us some nice spurts.
He's definitely confident in his 3-point shot because at media day, we asked who's the best shooter. And he said myself.
Like it. I like it.
Like, okay. I was like, all right. On a team with Seth Curry and with Kyrie and with Tim Hardaway. And hey, go for it, man. Go off, twin.
Yep.
So that's why I think they did that. But I don't think Rashawn Holmes would have made like that big of a difference if they started him earlier. But I do wonder like what's the decision with playing him more, starting him more. And I kind of think either one of the things that we said could have been right.
Definitely weird.
Did we talk about Jaden Hardy?
Oh, man. It's just a sad convo.
He's went 3 of 17 in this game, 2 of 12 from 3. He still got the green light from 3, and he was one of the guys where you go, all right, if they're gonna win this game, he's just got to go off. And it just doesn't seem like he had 5 fouls in this game too. It just doesn't seem like he has that other gear where he can create his own shot. It just seems like the regression from all right, summer league, let's handle the ball a little bit, handle the ball some more, to now where he's just like. All he's doing is getting the ball and like picking it up and shooting. Basically, it just feels like he's regressed in that area because of how badly it went this summer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to give up on him or anything yet.
No.
Like he still has shown great flashes, but I saw Iztok tweeted out today that he's shooting the same percentage from the rim as he did last year. He's worse from mid range than he was a year ago. So right now he's just an inefficient scorer, which is why, like we've been saying on this show, like. If he's not hitting his threes, then there's not much he's doing for you, and he's not going to play because he's not doing any of the other things right now currently. So maybe it is a weird confidence thing where they tried out the point Hardy experiment in the summer league, and it was not good at all. And maybe that did mess with him a little tiny bit. But if he wants to like develop into like a real legitimate player, I think that was a good like decision for him for his development. But it just didn't work out.
He's playing like Tim Hardaway has the last couple of years before this one.
Yeah. Like weird, out of control, like shots that make you scratch your head. Shots where it's like, hey, we can get that shot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock,
right.
not with 16. Yeah, but I mean, without the 3-point shooting of Tim, unfortunately.
Yeah, Hardy's play this season, not just this game, but this season so far has made me maybe take a step back on some of the, all right, could he be Jordan Poole last year? Could he be Tyrese Maxey? He could be Jordan Poole this year. He's probably Jordan Poole this year right now. Could he be, take the leap to Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Simons? Like, could he end up taking those type of leaps? And it seems like it's farther off than the leap would come next year if it's the same. If he's the same age as those guys.
But also too, Hardy's a good athlete, but he's not like Anthony Simons is like an absurd athlete.
Yeah,
he's just an absurd athlete. And
Maxey
Jordan Poole,
super quick, like one of the fastest in the NBA.
So Hardy's gonna have to rely on like being just uber crafty, and that's tough. That's difficult. There's not a lot of guys who have made a career in the NBA just being like uber crafty with like okay athleticism.
Yeah, and if you're that, you've got to make incredibly good decisions and know exactly what to do with the ball, and that's been his weakness so far in the NBA. And so that's where we're kind of. I mean, took 17 shots, 0 free throws. Yeah, not really a good sign in a game.
And he started like 0 of 8, so it was just a rough game for Hardy. Again, I'm not ready to give up on him or anything. Like I'm not like rushing to the trade machine to get him out of here. But
why would you do that at this point? Now we're so down on him.
Yeah, I mean.
That's another thing I think people do is that they're just like, all right, let's trade this guy. He sucks. Let's trade Dwight. Let's trade Jaden Hardy. It's like, okay, well, no one's gonna take them now.
Also, like NBA GMs they're not like Twitter, NBA Twitter people where they're just so reactionary to one game. Like they know who Jaden Hardy is. They've seen him. If a team wants him, they've seen what he can do, and they say, oh, if we do this with him or do that with him, it will really work out. Like this game's not changing anything for any of these guys.
No.
Trade wise, because I saw people say that. Where it's like, oh, we can't trade him now. It's like, well, you couldn't trade him after this. You couldn't trade him before it either.
What got me off Twitter today is somebody replied and said, when do we start thinking about keeping the draft pick?
Oh, yeah. Right now.
The Mavs that have to be in the top 10, they can't be. They can't be close.
There's already like 4 teams, or if you lost out, I don't even know if you'd finish worse than.
Yeah, I don't know if you're catching Detroit's losses by like February.
Yeah. No, I don't. You might not. Well, you probably.
Mavs are 14 games back. From 10, they're 4 games back right now.
I can't even believe. Why are you even entertaining this? Why are you even entertaining this? Like you're like, yeah, it got me off Twitter, and now you're like, well, they are 4 games back.
Well, I wanted to see how far away it was.
But how many teams, though? That was the Tankathon thing a year ago where it was like, yeah, we're only a game back, but it was like, but we're 6 teams back.
Yeah, they are 9 teams, I think, away from top 10, which that's a distance to go.
Is that the theory? Like, oh, well, Luka's fine. They're just tanking this game just in case they need it at the end of the year. Like
I think the reason why I think they did it today is they needed rest for Luka. That's something me and Dana talked about the other day. I mean, he just desperately needed it. He was leading the league in minutes in December and shots, both things. Just an incredible workload on him.
The Dante one is interesting.
Well, the two new dads, they get off.
That makes sense.
Get another day.
But I wonder too if it was like since they played tonight in Houston and then tomorrow night in Dallas. I'm assuming they're traveling tonight. If it was just like hey. Like, we're probably going to lose this game anyways. Like, Dante, you stay behind too, and just make sure you're ready to go tomorrow night.
Yeah, but Houston fans don't need to see you guys, but
yeah,
the Mavs fans.
If you're a Mavs fan who's like, I went down to Houston to watch them, why'd you do that?
Our friend Valencia King went down there. I saw her tweeting about it and posting about it, and I was like, oof, that is a rough one.
Why not just stay up here and go to the game tomorrow night?
How much is 4 hours of gas? How much?
And you have to be in Houston.
Actually, 8 hours because you gotta go there and you gotta go back. You gotta go back too, and you do have to spend some time in Houston apparently.
Yeah, not the best time.
Yeah, glad we didn't make that call and do that.
Yeah.
Let us know anything in the comment section. I don't care what it is. Let us know anything in the comments. If you're here, actually, let me know if you're here in the comment section.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Hopefully, much better result against the Spurs. They're very terrible. We get to watch Wembanyama again, hopefully. And then maybe Luka comes back. And then Christmas. We're so close to it. So keep coming back to Locked On Mavs. Really appreciate you guys if you stuck through this far. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.